people don't think that we did everything we can to make sure that we saved the lives of folks who I sent there and who were carrying out missions on behalf of the United States, then you don't know how our Defense Department thinks, or our State Department thinks, or our CIA thinks. Their number one priority is obviously to protect American lives. That's what our job is.
Let me check. From Atlanta, yes, syndicated columnist Charles Krauthammer. Charles, how's your magical mystery tour going?
Well, I'm out here going city to city, rooting out heresies among conservatives.
Well, I hope you're making money. You're going to need it to pay the higher tax rates.
Yeah, and the lawyers, too.
Charles Krauthammer, let me bring you into this. What was your reaction to the president's comments about Susan Rice and his defense? He basically said, we asked her to go out, and she was simply reciting the intelligence talking points that she was given.
Well, you called it his one show of passion. I would say it was his usual show of indignation, which is his default response whenever he feels defensive or backed into a corner. You know, how dare you attack my UN ambassador? And then he gives the strangest defense by saying she didn't have anything to do with the Benghazi affair. Well, then why the hell are you sending her out there? Why didn't you send out the Secretary of State or the CIA director or Panetta or somebody who did know? And then he does play this sort of Lancelot defending the mistress in distress. You know, it made Mitt Romney and the binders with women look positively feminist in comparison. This kind of patronizing attack on the two male senators who would dare attack the girl, which is what was intended in his tone. This is all as usual. You know, if you attack his pride, he'll strike you on that. And it was clearly defensive, and it was also a stonewall. I mean, after all, what she said was absolutely and completely misleading, either inadvertently, in which case it's complete incompetence, or on purpose, in which case it's deception. And then he took the bait on that and said, look, that wasn't her speaking, that was me speaking. If you want to pick on somebody, pick on me. Well, how can anybody pick on him or even question him if he hasn't had a press conference in 8 months? You know, he clearly hasn't been out there. He's been hiding behind inquiries, behind investigations, and now behind Susan Rice. But now I think he's out there, and he's vulnerable on this. I think he may regret having said that.
When it comes to the top 2%, what I'm not going to do is to extend further a tax cut for folks who don't need it, which would cost close to $1 trillion. And it's very difficult to see how you make up that $1 trillion, if we're serious about deficit reduction, just by closing loopholes and deductions.
The ball is in the Republicans' court. They may not like that, but I think that's the truth, and Obama is in the driver's seat right now.
Charles Krauthammer, I'd love you to react to that, and I also would like you to react to the president's statement today that he wants a big deal, he wants a comprehensive deal, and he was, I thought, quite open about the idea that he's willing to put entitlements and entitlement reform on the table.
Well, he said that in the past. He's never proposed anything. Perhaps he'll do it, I don't know. But I disagree with what Chuck said about Obama holding all the cards. Politically, perhaps. But remember, Obama's not running again. So what? If it's not going to help him if his popularity increases and he wrecks the American economy by sending into a recession by going over the cliff. The card that the Republicans hold is that it is terrible policy to do what would happen unless Obama yields somewhat in his demand on higher rates, because we're going to have a recession. We're going to have a huge amount of defense cuts, which his own defense secretary has said would destroy the U.S. military, probably cause a resignation on principle, send us into a recession, and not solve our entitlement problem. We would have the worst American economy, entitlements out of control, cuts in discretionary spending, in defense, and high taxes with a stalled economy. Is that how he wants to have a second term? He's not running again. The popularity numbers are irrelevant. He knows knows he goes over a cliff, he's going to have the worst second term in the last 50 years. So I think the cards are held equally, and I'm with AB. I heard him say that he was open to other ways of raising revenues, new ideas, he called it, and I think there is clearly a compromise out there where the rates are either not raised at all, or perhaps you redefine what the rich are, say $1 million, and up the Chuck Schumer idea, and you get a compromise.
This has been a Sunfish production.